So when we got the camper, like most or all, the windows and the doors don't have any coverage. So, you know, you get a lot of heat, a lot of sunlight, and you lose a lot of privacy. So because they are all listed as Lippert Thin Shade ready, we ordered them, put them in, and we've had them for over 2 years now, I believe, and have had constant problems. We installed them as they're directed, where you pull the shade down. We recently changed them where you can lift the shade up so you can have a little bit more height privacy but still peek out. And when the heat hits in particular, and also closing the doors, it wants to let loose. I'm not sure if I'm crazy about these shades. I'm constantly, it's installed right, but I don't know if it's the swelling. What do you think?
So
like the plastic.
This is my thought process on it. The materials that this is made with is not UV and hot cold rated. Like, basically, if you're in a climate that gets really hot and then really cold, this upper strip right here starts to deform.
And before you say, you know, that's because it's mounted right now to pull down, that's not where it's letting loose particularly. It's up in here, that brace piece.
I mean, you can literally see where it's got a swoop to it, where it's deformed because of the changes in temperature and the sun beating on it. And plus the pleated flaps start to lose their memory and just go all different ways, and it turns into like what is in the 80s, that jar you'd open up and the snake would blow out of it?
Oh, I remember those.
Yeah, so like another thing here, let's see what happens. Think it'll pop up down?
It might.
Nope. But usually when you close the door, it just comes out.
And generally, we have more shade here, but when we were mix stocking, that morning sun would beat and we'd be sitting having coffee, and all of a sudden you would just hear it fall and see the failure. And I liked the idea of it, the pleated shade, because when we got the camper, all of my other shades were these, and they're the pleated fabric. But two things in our past video we had addressed: these cords, they get wore down thin and they pop. And another thing I'll show you is another reason I wanted something else. So you can see through this. If I actually look from my angle, I don't know if the camera will show it, I can see vehicles, I can see the dumpster, I can see their picnic table. That's during the day. At nighttime, I can't see anything out there, but if the lights are on in here, you can see everything. We tested that out. So particularly with the bedroom, with dressing and such, I did for heat the Reflectix, but for looks, so it didn't look like a tinfoil camper, I had, in our sticks and bricks, I had extra cheap curtains from my son's room that we weren't using. And so for the 2-bedroom windows, I covered the Reflectix with the black curtain, just so that it looks, you know, just dark and black from the outside. And I leave this all the time, unless we're like boondocking with privacy and we're sleeping with the windows open, because otherwise I don't need to see out there. But that said, we did have 2 of those shades, I believe, Greg, fail. One failed, and we decided to order at the Florida RV show the MCD roller shades. And before,
so far, so good.
Yeah, before they even arrived, we had another shade fail. So I'm glad I did all of them. And we have the blackout, and then we also have the day shades. So on that note, the door shade, the pleated, isn't as crucial to me anymore as like looks. But what we got, which I wanted to get, but I did not just order without kind of getting Greg's opinion. I have seen others use these, and I like the magnetic aspect that's going to go on the frame. See, it's already magnetized there, but I can already open this and tell this is going to give me complete blackout. And this is, don't you think, babe, like more heat protection?
Well, you got to look at the brochure. This is what kind of impressed me. It actually shows like And for a lot of people that know about, like, you know, thermal heat transfer and stuff, like several different material layers help a lot. I am hopeful that this is going to be good.
That's just kind of boy stuff to me. I'm just like, it feels better because, like I said, well, the doors, we get a lot of heat through the doors anyway. Ours, if it's sun directly on, like in the morning, all of the white inside the door like looks glowing red. I don't know if it's the insulation in that. Weird. Is anybody else's kind of glowing red? But I feel a lot of heat just at that window. Being able to still go up or down with sections if I want to peek out the top, or have it completely black so we can sleep into 9 a.m. like we have the last couple of mornings. We're back on our own time schedule now. So we, Greg, I'm not as detailed as him. Yeah. Like cleaning the frame and getting this straight and perfect, I know I'd mess it up. So Greg is gonna put this up. And we got 2 for both doors.
So yeah, so in a nutshell, this whole door is what you would call a hot mess. Well, this is kind of hot fecal matter right here, this Lippert Thin Shade. And then we're just gonna try and take the whole hot just mess of it and try and get it better. So we'll see what happens with it, and I'm hopeful.
Y'all, this dude out here with one of his toolkits, tape measure, Sharpie. I think most people would maybe wipe it off with the alcohol wipe or something.
I did.
I know, but I think that's most what people would do, and then eyeball it.
All right, so the way the instructions are on this, you're supposed to line everything up on the flap and then pull all the sticky off, attach it at the top, and just like slowly and carefully just stick it all down. And I felt like that was too, I felt like it would create an uneven adhesion. So I actually measured everything and put it on here. So if you ever had this off of there, it would look good. I just didn't like that whole plop it down and start pressing it with the sheet over it. I didn't feel like that was accurate. I could be wrong, but there's the strips.
So that actually looks solid black, maximum privacy, maximum heat resistant. So it doesn't advise pulling down here, but I guess if you wanted to come top down, you could just, because that one's Velcro. But I don't know, like, I would do this way because generally I want the sun and heat coverage at evening, morning. So at night I want full privacy, and I want evening and morning sun and heat coverage anyway. But when I start my day, I'll be dressed, so I don't mind if somebody comes up to the door. Well, I'm short, nobody can see me from below here anyway, but I like having it, I think, up again. So yeah. I feel like if you go too high, when you pull it back down, it might want to pull the Velcro. Yep. So maybe just put your hand there and then do it. I like that I can also access the inside of the glass and clean my windows, as opposed to the other shade. So we'll see how it holds up. If we get failure, we'll let you know.
I get to do the second door now.
He gets to do the second door now.